country has always conducted and will continue to conduct a balanced, constructive foreign policy course, one that considers both our national interests and the objective trends of global development. With all partners who are interested in cooperation, we are committed to maintaining truly open and mutually beneficial relationships, deepening our ties in politics, economy, and the humanitarian sphere, and jointly confronting acute challenges and common threats. Russia advocates for the reinforcement of the crucial and central role of the United Nations in international affairs, an organization that marked its significant anniversary last year.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to warmly welcome you into Kremlin at the ceremony of the presentation of letters of credence. Our meeting is taking place at the very beginning of the new year, where we all build new plans for the new year and for the future, and we would like to hope that all the hardships and troubles, mutual grievances and conflicts will remain in the past. I would like to use this occasion, and I would like to wish all of you, your families, and the peoples that the countries of you represent, all the well-being and success in the year 2026. You will probably agree that one of the key factors of sustainable development and well-being, prosperity of humanity is international cooperation. In the modern, multifaceted and mutually interconnected world, it is the capability of states to interact constructively that defines common stability and security. And a frank, honest partnership gives us the opportunity to resolve common, even the most difficult challenges. It's no wonder that they say that the peace doesn't come on its own, rather it is built, and every day. The peace demands efforts, responsibility, conscious choices. The relevance of this is obvious, especially right now when the situation and the international arena is degrading more and more. I think no one will argue with that. All conflicts are aggravating, new serious hotspots of tensions are appearing. Diplomacy, search of consensus, compromise are more often than not subsumed by unilateral and quite dangerous actions. Instead of dialogue between states, we hear the monologue of those who use the might makes right formula to justify their attempts to impose their will, act condescendingly, and give orders. Dozens of countries in the world suffer from disrespect of their sovereign rights, from the chaos and lawlessness, and they don't have enough strength and resources to defend themselves faced with pressure and blackmail. A sensible resolution of this frankly difficult situation is to have more voices in favor of the strict adherence by international law by all members of the world community, and also by providing real assistance to the new, upcoming, more just multipolar world order. A world order where every state could have a right for their own model of growth, to have their own preservation of their independent culture and tradition without any interference from without. I would like to point out that Russia is sincerely adhering to the ideals of multipolar world. Our country will always conduct and has always conducted a balanced and constructive foreign policy course, taking due consideration to our own national interests and objective tendencies of the world development. With all partners interested in cooperation can count on our support and truly frank and mutually beneficial relations. To deepen links in politics, economy, humanitarian sphere, and to jointly counter the most daunting challenges and threats. Russia stands for the reinforcement of the key central role of the UN in the world affairs. The organization celebrated its anniversary last year. 80 years ago, our fathers, grandfathers, won the Second World War for us. They managed to unite, find the balance of interests, and agreed on the fundamental rules and principles of interstate conversation and relations. And they enshrined them in the UN Charter in their fullness. and interconnectedness. The imperatives of this very important document, such as mutual respect of sovereignty, equal rights, and non-interference with the internal affairs of states, the resolution of disputes through dialogue, are in high demand right now, more than ever. And we need to think that the security must be truly comprehensive. That means equal and indivisible. And it cannot be ensured for some at the expense of security of others. This principle has been enshrined in the principal documents of the international community. Neglect of this basic this principle will not lead to anything good. This was shown at the example of the situation of the crisis around Ukraine, which became a direct consequences of the long history of ignoring Russia's interests and a serious effort, conscious effort to multiply threats to our security in part of the expansion of NATO towards our country, in contrary to the public assurances given to us previously. I would like to remind everyone that Russia has repeatedly came up with initiatives to build a new, reliable and just architecture of European and global security. We suggested variants and rational resolutions that could satisfy everyone in the United States, in Europe, in Asia, in the entire world. We think that we need perhaps to return to the targeted discussion of those principles to reinforce those conditions that could help bolster the peaceful settlement of the conflict in Ukraine. It is that long-term sustainable peace, ensuring security of each and every one, is the desire of our country. Not everyone, particularly in Kiev and in the European countries supporting it, is ready for it. But hope that the consideration of this necessity will come sooner than later. Without that, Russia will continue to reach the goals we set for ourselves before the beginning of the revolution. I would like to underline that we are always ready to build equal and mutually beneficial relations with all international partners in the name of common prosperity, well-being and development. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, at the current ceremony, 32 ambassadors are represented. Each of those states that they represent is an active member of the UN, contributing to the resolution of current challenges of the world agenda. Many of you are representing countries that are strategic partners and allies of Russia, the countries that are united with us by the ties of friendship, cooperation and mutual support, and with whom we are working together in the framework of large international regional structures. I'm convinced that the Ambassador of Brazil will agree that our two countries, who were at the outset of the creation of BRICS, are constructive, like-minded countries when it comes to the forming of the truly just and multipolar world order. The cooperation of Russia and Brazil is developing a constructive key and is fulfilled with new mutually beneficial projects in different areas. As you know, just yesterday I talked with President Lula da Silva through the telephone. We discussed the situation, and this confirmed our outlooks at the global and regional process are close or are matching. I would like to point out that the real, durable and friendly relations tie us with the Republic of Cuba. We have always helped, we always continue to help to our Cuban friends. We express solidarity with their efforts to defend their sovereignty and independence. Faced with another wave of blackmail and threats, Russian-Cuban cooperation is tested with time and is based on our sympathy of our peoples. We are implementing very important projects in energy, metalworking, transport infrastructure, medicine, and uploading cultural and material links. I would like to point out that Latin America and Russia have very close and constructive relations. We always respected the states of this region as equal and self-sufficient partners. This concerns fully the countries represented here, such as Colombia, Peru, Uruguay. I think that you have all the opportunities to have a qualitative increase of trade and investment and commercial links and the cooperation area of healthcare and pharmaceuticals. education, and capacity building when it comes to human resources. In the same spirit of partnership and trust, Russia is intending to have a further reinforcement of our interaction with the states of the Middle East and North Africa. One of the key roles in this region is played by the friendly country of Egypt, with whom we are building the relations of trust based on the Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Cooperation of 2018. Our countries are implementing important joint projects, including the construction of the El Dabaa nuclear power plant and creation of the Russian industrial area in the environs of the Suez Canal. In a month, we will celebrate the 100th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations with Saudi Arabia. The bilateral partnership is developing successfully and is of a compound character. We have established close coordination in the format of OPEC+, which truly helps to support the stability of the global oil market. We welcome the decision of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to act as a country guest of the upcoming St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. It's important that Saudi Arabia is also planning to accommodate the international musical contest Intervision that was revitalized at Russia's initiative. Our ties to Lebanon and Iraq are traditionally developing in the mutually respectful and positive key. Our country is constantly supporting their unity, sovereignty, independence of those states, and against any foreign interference into internal affairs. We are closely cooperating with Pakistan, a full-fledged member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the largest regional structure in regards to its economical, technological, and human potential. Russian-Pakistan relations are truly friendly and mutually beneficial. Afghanistan is a country observer at the SCO. Russian-Afghan cooperation has recently garnered an important positive dynamic. This is helped by the decision taken by Russia last year regarding the official recognition of new authorities of the country. We are sincerely interested in Afghanistan being a united, independent, and peaceful state, free of war, terrorism, and drug trafficking. Our interaction with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and the Republic of Maldives is improving quite efficiently. We are successfully improving contacts in the traditional areas such as tourism, fisheries, agriculture, and energy. We are intending to grow our cooperation in other spheres of mutual interest. At the ceremony today, we have a large group of ambassadors of the friendly countries of Africa, Somalia, Gabon, Senegal, Rwanda, Mauritania, Algeria, Ghana, and Namibia. Russia is tied to the countries of the region by relations of partnership, support, and mutual aid. The basics of those relations have been laid in during the time of African people fight for their freedom and independence. Our country contributed significantly to ridding the countries of Africa from the colonial yoke and the building of the statehood, development of the national economies and social sphere, and the training and equipment of the armed forces. And we are intending to broaden the mutual political, economic, humanitarian context. We will continue to assist and help the African friends in their desire for development and active participation in international affairs. All those questions have been discussed in detail at the Russian-African summits in Sochi in 2019 and St. Petersburg in 2023, and at the Russia-Africa Partnership Forum in Cairo last month, which was held at the level of Ministers of Foreign Affairs. We are currently working on the holding a third summit of Russia-Africa Summit this year. Fortunately, the positive capital of our interaction with the Republic of Korea was in many cases wasted, and it's a shame because we used to be guided by the pragmatical approach, and we used to reach truly good results in the trade and business. Every European state present here is Slovenia, France, Czech Republic, Portugal, Norway, Sweden, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy has the experience of deep historical relations with our country. Our relations are full with examples of mutually beneficial partnership and enriching cultural cooperation. The current state of bilateral ties of the aforementioned countries with Russia leave much to be desired. The dialogue and contracts have been decreased to a minimum, not due to any fault of ours, I would like to say. I'm talking about the official and business circles interaction. Any interaction on key international regional questions has been frozen. I would like to believe that we'll return to normal, constructive conversation based on the principles of respect of national interest, consideration of due concerns in the area of security. Russia has always been and remains committed to such approaches and ready to restore the level of relations that would be satisfactory to us. In general, as I said many times, we're open for mutually beneficial cooperation with all countries without exception, and we are of course interested that the work of any ambassador presented here would be extremely representative. And be sure, distinguished fellow, that all useful endeavors proposed by us will get the necessary support from the Russian leadership, the executive authorities, enterprises, and civil society. I would like to wish you all the success and all the best in your work. Thank you for your attention.
The sensible way out of this situation appears to be to more assertively demand strict adherence to international law from all members of the global community, and furthermore to provide concrete assistance to the new, more equitable, multipolar world order that is currently forging its path. A world order in which all nations would possess the right to their own distinct model of growth, to independently, without any external influence, determine their own destiny while preserving their unique culture and cherished traditions. I would like to point out that Russia is truly committed to the ideals of a multipolar world. Our country has always conducted and will continue to conduct a balanced, constructive foreign policy course, one that considers both our national interests and the objective trends of global development. With all partners who are interested in cooperation, we are committed to maintaining truly open and mutually beneficial relationships, deepening our ties in politics, economy, and the humanitarian sphere, and jointly confronting acute challenges and common threats. Russia advocates for the reinforcement of the crucial and central role of the United Nations in international affairs, an organization that marked its significant anniversary last year.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to warmly welcome you into Kremlin at the ceremony of the presentation of letters of credence. Our meeting is taking place at the very beginning of the new year, where we all build new plans for the new year and for the future, and we would like to hope that all the hardships and troubles, mutual grievances and conflicts will remain in the past. I would like to use this occasion, and I would like to wish all of you, your families, and the peoples that the countries of you represent all the well-being and success.
Ile to? 12,5 minuty po godzinie 11. Pan Michał Filipek. Udało się coś ustalić?
Jeśli chodzi o biogazownię,
Tak.
to znaczy biogazownie są budowane już od 2007 roku.
The sensible way out of this situation
Smoke-filled streets, shattered calm. New images emerging from inside Iran show protesters confronting security forces head-on. In the northwestern city of Urmia, a demonstrator is seen hurling an object as crowds chant in Farsi, "Death to the dictator." Elsewhere, in Karaj, night traffic slows to a crawl around a damaged car blocking the road. On a nearby wall, a stark message is sprayed in graffiti, "Death to Khamenei." China has sharply criticized the United States over its response to the unrest in Iran, accusing Washington of violating international law and interfering in another country's internal affairs.
Regarding the situation in Iran, we have stated our position many times. We support and hope that the Iranian government and people can overcome current difficulties and maintain national stability. At the same time, we oppose external forces interfering in the internal affairs of any country, and we do not approve of the threat or use of force in international relations. We hope that all parties concerned will make more efforts that are truly conducive to the peace and stability of the Middle East. International law, based on the principles and purposes of the UN Charter, is the cornerstone of the current international order and a vital basis for resolving international disputes. Defending international law is key to upholding global fairness and justice and preventing the world from returning to the law of the jungle. Great powers should take the lead in respecting the authority of international law and fulfilling their international law obligations.
Russia has echoed China's criticism. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused the United States of dismantling the international system it once helped create, citing U.S. actions against Venezuela and threats toward Iran.
I do not believe that any third party can fundamentally alter the nature of relations between Moscow and Tehran. This nature is based on agreements that were reached between the presidents of the Russian Federation and the Islamic Republic of Iran. It serves the interests of both our two states and our two peoples. This character is embodied in a whole series of practical projects of a very tangible material nature, such as the building of the Bushehr nuclear power generating station, the implementation of plans in the sphere of transport infrastructure, such as the North Taurik and many other crucial issues that are currently on the agenda of Russian-Iranian relations, all of which hold particular significance, including for the overall development of this entire region, this particular region of the Eurasian continent. It is undeniable that when the United States begins to act completely disregarding all the principles that the Americans themselves have promoted, propagating a model that they themselves refer to as globalization, and when they themselves, after that, as I have already mentioned, abandoned all their principles, it certainly makes one think that our American colleagues appear quite unreliable when they act in such a manner, and to place their bets on the notion that everywhere there is oil or some other important strategic natural resources, thinking only about how to advance their own interests, and for this purpose they resort to threats and methods of direct pressure, specifically in the form of tariffs. They announce tariffs against Iran, or rather, they impose tariffs of 25% on Iran's partners. And as for Russia, Senator, there's certain Lindsey Graham, who is on our respective lists. He's actively promoting, and lately he's clearly become quite animated, an initiative for a 500% tariff on trade with all countries that are currently trading with the Russian Federation. This can of course undoubtedly evoke a smile. It might also provoke anger, even outright rejection, but I believe we simply need to focus on working diligently and implement our nation and the Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as between Russia, all our other valued commercial and economic partners. When such a powerful country as the United States are employing such unscrupulous methods, these methods of unfair competition, this only goes to show that the competitive positions of the United States, they are progressively deteriorating, but there are probably some other more fair and just methods for the assertion and defense of their own positions, rather than such direct discriminatory use of sanctions. Continue for long, this will lead to an even more serious crisis in international economic and indeed political relations. In the dialogue we have with Washington, which we intend to continue, we speak about this quite frankly. We openly discuss the absolute necessity of finally bringing some elementary order to the methods currently being employed on the international stage.
The diplomatic backlash comes as Iran signals readiness for confrontation. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, warned that Tehran is ready for war if the United States chooses to test it, while also saying Iran remains open to dialogue. At the same time, Iran's Revolutionary Guards said they're at the highest level of readiness to respond decisively to what they called miscalculations by the United States and Israel. Inside Iran, the situation is growing more severe. Human rights groups say at least 3,428 protesters have been killed in a sweeping crackdown, with more than 10,000 arrested. Iran is also expected to carry out its first execution linked to the current wave of protests, despite Trump's warning of consequences if executions proceed. The U.S. has now issued travel warnings urging its citizens to leave Iran immediately, while regional tensions continue to rise. As protests intensify, executions loom, and major powers trade accusations, the standoff over Iran is no longer just a domestic crisis. It is becoming a focal point of a widening global confrontation over power, law, and influence.
Stolica walczyła o przetrwanie. 5 dni bez prądu, huk petard na ulicach i serię wybuchów na niebie, których nikt nie potrafi wyjaśnić. Zaczynamy tydzień w świecie, który na naszych oczach zmienia właścicieli. Stare mapy spłonęły w jedną noc, a sojusze, które miały nas chronić, właśnie legły w gruzach. To, co widzieliście w nagłówkach, to zaledwie wierzchołek góry lodowej. Podczas gdy oficjalne komunikaty mówią o incydentach, my dotarliśmy do prawdy o największym upokorzeniu nowoczesnego wywiadu. Pokażemy wam sceny, które nie miały prawa się wydarzyć. Od sypialni